Hello again, it is I, Juan Storypoint, Agile Azul, Mexico's finest wrestler / agile coach. This episode, we look at key person dependencies, and I ask you, are you your company's Hulk Hogan? So come with me now, as we wrestle with business. In the world of professional wrestling, there are few names bigger than Hulk Hogan. During the 80s and 90s, Hulk and his signature red and yellow gear were synonymous with the business, and arguably was the figure that pushed wrestling into the mainstream. From lunchboxes, toys, Saturday morning cartoons and more, it was hard to avoid Hulk and his core message: train, say your prayers, and eat your vitamins. And the unspoken message of spending your pocket money on wrestling merchandise. He was the main attraction at 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias. In fact, even when he wasn't in the main match, he managed to get himself on camera and steal the spotlight from the actual winner of the match, our previous subject, Randy Savage. He and the company had an almost symbiotic relationship. They both made money for each other, and everything was coming up red and yellow. But heavily relying on one person is never a good idea, and this is true in any workplace. In order to maintain his top position, Hogan would often play office politics. He needed a constant stream of competitors that he could triumph over, and that meant that any new promising talent would be fed to him to lose. He might initially struggle against them, but at the end of the day he would win and his opponent would be pushed down the pecking order. This meant that the talent pool remained relatively shallow. Few people, regardless of their ability, were allowed to reach Hogan's level. By the time WrestleMania 8 happened, this had really started to have a negative effect on the entire company. When you've not cultivated a broad pool of workers, filling a 3-hour show with compelling content is difficult to say the least. Compare this to any other office. Think about who you listen to and who you give opportunities to. If you only ever listen to your Hulk Hogan, then are you missing out on great ideas or failing to nurture the skills of more junior members of your team who have the potential to be your next Hulk Hogan? Hogan had a relatively basic brawler style. He would throw punches and eventually use the atomic leg drop, but he would never carry out a technical match of the style of someone like, say, Bret Hart. This lack of diversity at the top meant that other companies were starting to push boundaries in areas that WWE could only imagine. Rival companies in Mexico and Japan were introducing totally new techniques and styles of wrestling using smaller, more athletic competitors. This style in the long run would become popular in America, which left WWE scrambling to catch up in an area they had long ignored. If you look at your own competitors, is there a rival that is doing something that you are currently ignoring because your key person just can't do it? Now, I'm not saying that you should ignore those in your company that have long tenure. Their years of experience are a massive asset, and in all likelihood they will bring in a large proportion of your profit. But don't let them be the single pillar that is holding up your company. Make sure to use their experience to broaden the skills of others in your company. Why have one Hulk Hogan when you can have a packed roster of talent that can adapt and bring a variety of ideas and concepts to the table? It also mitigates the risk of an employee suddenly leaving the company, either through being offered a better deal elsewhere or retiring, or having to take a leave of absence after testifying against the company he works for during a steroids abuse scandal in the courts. Now, some of those examples may not be relevant to your business. So look around you. Who is the Hulk Hogan of your organisation? Is there someone that you rely too heavily on? Are there people that you ignore that could be doing great things when given the chance? Are you your company's Hulk Hogan? And if so, what can you do to make sure that you are not more of a risk than an asset? Because what you gonna do, brother, if your Hulk Hogan walks out on you? Hogan impressions are not really my thing. So, until next time when we wrestle with business, goodbye!